G'day guys, and welcome to another video. You're here bagging it with the best. I'm Jacob, this is Benny, and today we're going to be installing an airbag kit to the rear of this Mercedes Benz X-Class.
The customer tows a camper trailer. With the weight on the tow ball and gear in the back is pushing the rear end down, causing spring sag. This is resulting in loss of travel and bottoming out on the bump stops.
These airbags will solve that spring sag problem and level the vehicle simply by inflating the airbags.
This kit has a recommended install time of 2 hours.
But we're going to be installing it in 2 to 3 minutes just for you, aren't we, Benny?
Yep.
Let's do it. Okay, so before Benny gets stuck in with the airbag install, I just want to give you a quick rundown of what you actually get in the kit. So we'll start off with the airbags. Now we've got vehicle-specific airbag assemblies that replace the coil spring suspension in the Mercedes Benz that you see behind us here. So they are a complete assembly there, and we have designed the lower piston to sit onto the lower spring seat there nicely and bolt straight in. So this is a complete bolt-in system. So we've got those heavy-duty air spring assemblies. Another thing here, we've got a little bag of fittings. We've got the 2 inflation valves and the air fittings. They're all push-to-connect fittings as well, so it makes it nice and easy to install the air line that comes in the kit as well. So here's your heavy-duty nylon tubing. Comes with a protector sleeve around the whole length of tubing, so when you're routing it underneath the vehicle, keeps it nice and protected as well. A couple of other things here, we've got our other vehicle-specific brackets that just bolt top and bottom of the air springs, so they come in a little packet here. You get 4 of those. And we've got a heat shield as well, so that just goes on the one side where the exhaust is going to be close to the airbag, so you install this on the one side only, so you get one of them. Okay, so the last and final bit to this air suspension kit is the operator's manual. So make sure you include this in your vehicle. Have a good read of the fitting instructions included. It's a full step-by-step fitting instructions with pictures and everything you need to know to successfully install this kit. You can also watch this video as well, but make sure you have a good read of that. Another thing is how to operate the air suspension as well. So have a good read through of this, your product manual, that shows you how to actually operate this air suspension as well, how to inflate it, deflate it, everything you need to know. So that's it, let's get stuck into the airbag install. It is recommended that only a properly qualified person installs the product and carries out maintenance. If you are not qualified and attempt to carry out such work, ensure that all safety equipment is used and safety standards are met.
This airbag kit replaces the coil springs. So to get started, I'm going to disconnect the sway bar and lower shock mount. Then once the coils are removed, we'll bolt in the upper retainer. Let's get stuck in. So before we install the airbag assembly and feed the airline up through the upper spring seat and retainer, we're going to have to leak test the airbag fitting. Now what you want to do is grab your inflation valve, connect it to your airline, then inflate your airbag assembly. And you only want to go to about 10 PSI, that's all you need. Grab your soapy water in a spray bottle and spray your fitting. Check for any signs of foaming. So that all looks good. So now you want to re-roll the assembly. So while deflating on your inflation valve, you can put your body weight on the assembly and re-roll it. good to go. Now that the airbag assembly and upper retainer is installed, it's time to move on to the lower adapter bracket and retaining clip. How easy was that? The driver's side's all installed. We're now going to move on to the passenger's side, repeating the same process. We'll then route the airlines and perform a leak test. Now that the airbag assemblies are installed, we're going to reconnect the sway bar and lower shock mounts. We'll then move on to routing the airline, keeping away from any sharp edges and heat. We'll cut the airline with an Airbag Man tube cutter, or you can use a sharp Stanley blade, and then we'll connect it to the push to connect fitting on the inflation valve. Now the airline's all routed and connected up to the inflation valves. We've already pre-tested the airbag assembly for any leaks. Now all we need to do is leak test the inflation valves. The last and final step would be to install the heat shield. Now this vehicle's got a modified exhaust, so we won't be installing it, but they're nice and simple. All you have to do is bend these two tabs and secure it to the exhaust with supplied hose clamps.
Benny's completed the airbag install. The last thing to do is refer to the last page of your installation instructions. Now this is going to tell you some pretty important information. It's going to show you the airbag operating height and the maximum pressure. Now the maximum pressure for this one is 70 PSI. That's been rated right up to the vehicle's payload. And then you got the airbag operating height, which has been spec'd to the vehicle's factory ride height and the suspension. So the airbag operating height is 11 to 13 inches, and that's measured from the bottom piston to the top of the airbag. So we're going to go about 12 inches. So Benny, I'll start inflating, and then you can let me know when we're at that height on both sides. Okay. What are we sitting at now?
9.
9 inches?
Yep.
So we just need a couple more inches. How are we?
That's 10. Hey, stop there.
Yep.
That's 11. Now go to
That's
the
11.
side.
Ready?
Yep. Stop. 12.
Both at 12?
Yep.
Sweet as. All right. So we've set the airbag height. The pressures are going to vary anywhere from the 40 to the 70 psi mark, but we're sitting around 40, I think, on that one, so that's all good. Alrighty, so airbag heights are set, we're good to go. There we go, that's a wrap for this install video. We hope you enjoyed watching it. Now this customer is going to maintain a nice, safe and level ride height regardless of the load, whether it's a varied load or a constant load. It's going to stay nice and level with the factory suspension. This kit also works with 2-inch aftermarket lifted vehicles as well, so that's nice. Now, thanks for watching again. Make sure you tune in next time, and remember, bag it with the best.